Hello, and welcome to the box room. David Bradley here. I was going through another box from the basement, and indeed I found something. I did. It's a binder. Doesn't look like much of anything, really, does it? But when you open it up, and it's been here a long time, it is from Workable Concepts, Inc. It is the PC PunterNET bulletin board software. Copyright 1989 and 90 by Workable Concepts. No part of this manual may be reproduced without permission of Workable Concepts. The PC PunterNET manual was written by Jeff Goebel. Oh, and Steve Punter. I remember Jeff Goebel. It continues to be updated as software changes or people make suggestions. And it's been in here so long. The print is over on the side of the binder. Now, PC PunterNET. Interesting. Oh, no. Did I do that? Oh, this front page is stuck. Oh, and it's not going well. Oh, yeah. The text is right. Oh, and the page came out. That is not what I had in mind. Yeah, the pages are not good. I'll have to get some of those little things to re-put the holes on. Ugh. I think this is actually for an IBM thing. Anyway, there are discs here. Many discs. Just a second here. I adore my 64 asterisk. I think this is indeed for Introduction to the PC PunterNET System Features. Installing, running the BBS. Let's see if we can get to page 30. Oh, we certainly got a lot farther. I did not know. What's this? Okay. Yeah, this is supposed to run not on a 64. It's for the PC. I didn't even know this existed. I didn't even know I got it. Workable Concepts. So there are many discs. I'll have to look into this. Anyway, let us go back a bit. I will set this down. It doesn't really matter if I have it in my hand. It's not like some great visual aid. Anyway, the PunterNET was a cool thing. And what it was is you would start your board and you would be a node on the PunterNET. And in the middle of the night, messages, when long distance rates were reasonable or more reasonable, very quickly boards could call each other and transfer messages back and forth. So it was kind of like just a little bit kind of internet-ish, but not really. Like, so questions could be asked from board to board, and things should be posted from board to board. But the idea, of course, was to avoid long-distance charges for as many people as possible, and that was done by, for example, I lived in Toronto. There were places that I could call, like Mississauga and Markham and Bolton and other things. I could call them quite fine, but those places could not call each other without long-distance charges. So our board, which was rather in the middle of the city, if there was a board, say, in Markham, and there was a message destined to go to a board in Mississauga, it would figure out what was what. And so in the middle of the night, the board in Markham would call our board in Toronto and pass along the messages that were destined for Mississauga or other places that were local to us. And then our board would call them, thus avoiding the long distance charges. And this was it was a very strange sort of thing, because I had two friends who were not from one of them was from the computer world, but he also was into motorcycles. Oh, I miss him. Anyway, and there was another fellow who was also into motorcycles, not so much into computers. But sometimes they would like to talk. But one lived in Markham, one lived in Bolton, and it was long distance between those two places, but not to me. So I could put my call forwarding on for a few minutes. Like, suppose the one was Big John, the other was Little John. If Little John called me and said he wanted to talk to Big John, I would immediately put call forwarding on to Big John and say, okay. I'd say, okay, hang up, and like in about a minute call. And then my call forwarding would send the call from my number to Markham, to Big John, and they could talk. And I could then turn it off. It didn't matter. They still could talk for free rather than long distance. It was very strange. Very strange. Anyway, but the PunterNet was quite brilliant like that, and I'm sure it saved a lot of people a lot of money. Now, was Bell Canada pleased with this? No, probably not. They liked people to have to call long distance. That's why they had it set up that way. But I suppose the thing was, like for a while, I ran one of these down in Florida, and certainly there was nothing local. But still, at 1200 baud, or maybe it was even 2400 baud, but I think mine was 1200 baud, it doesn't take a whole long time to pop a few messages with some text through. And there wasn't like files and things, it was just messages. So the calls would typically be well under a minute. Anyway, quite brilliant. I never knew they made it for the PC. I never knew. I'll have to check into this. Now I have the binder. I'll have to fix those first two pages because they got a little squirrely there. And yeah. So, as I have said many times, you never know what you'll find in the basement. Anyway, at some point, perhaps I will look for, when I showed this a couple episodes ago, this Commodore computer history. Perhaps I will see about playing this. I don't think I've ever looked at it. Certainly the GEOS things, well, everybody, if you've ever watched, you know I'm such a fan of GEOS. The thing that took a nice, friendly machine that I knew so much about and turned it into a slow, awful thing. Yeah. Anyway, well, I think that's enough for now. I have to go and do a pickup. Should I be doing this pickup? Not necessarily. But I will. So, thanks for coming. Have a lovely, lovely day. Oh, and don't forget, the World of Commodore is coming December 2nd and 3rd, 2023. In the vicinity of Toronto. Do I have all the details at this moment? No, I do not. But soon I will have them. Soon. Very, very soon. So, remember, it is presented by the Toronto Pet Users Group. And I will be there. And Rudy from Rudy's Retro Intro will be there. I speak of him now and again. He has made me a great thing that I'm sure. Oh, I think I see it buried here. I think I do. I think I might. It's a beautiful thing. This is the thing that I can plug 64 power supplies into, and it will tell me the 5-volt voltage, which one would think it should be 5 volts, and it should be, but it's not always. And if it gets too high, that is what kills 64s. And there's another fellow from Barrie who has all kinds of things that he sells. Incredible things. For a lot of Amiga stuff, but there's a 64 cartridge thing. I don't know much about it all. But supposedly Eugene will be there. And I'm sure Joey Palumbo will be there. And lots of other people. Lots of other things. There will be talks. There will be hanging out. Don't forget, of course, on the Saturday night, people go unto the Swiss chalet that is in the vicinity, and they sit and they dine and they talk and they laugh, ha 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 ha, and they spend a little time in the world of Commodore. Thanks for coming. Hope to see you there. Bye for now.